Hello. That was a heck of a few minutes to get this fixed, but I am here. Welcome back to another Shiny Developer Series live stream. My name is Eric. Hopefully you are having a good night. And hello, well, everybody tuning in. I am literally just decompressing from some stream troubleshooting, some of my own doing and some of other nonsense that occurred. Make a long story short, I was testing some new alert kind of things, and I forgot that I left a flag in my streaming settings that made it go to a test mode on Twitch instead of the real thing. So when I started this, like about a minute after, I noticed, kind of odd. Usually I get a couple of people show up at least. But, oh, Monica, that is so kind of you. Thank you very much. Oh, that is so cool. Thank you very much, Ed. That's definitely what I needed tonight. It's been a doozy of a day, to say the least. Well, welcome. Happy to have you here. And we're gonna do some data exploration tonight, but data in a meta sense with respect to the R ecosystem. There's a bit of a backstory of why I want to do stuff like this, but I think it's going to be a fun project, and it might actually lead to a fun event at an upcoming conference that I'm helping organize in a couple weeks. So let's bring in our friendly chat here. Hello, Unicorn Coder. Hello, Platinum G&G. Hello, for Fox Face. Welcome. I think you're new here. And of course, Monica. Yep. Happy to have you all here. So, the frantic troubleshooting I just did was not just with OBS and being too fancy with Twitch. I also managed to somehow break one of my other container setups, but I think I finally got it back just in time. So I can live by my words that I've been saying on either podcasts or other streams, where I can toggle back and forth between our studio and VS Code. So I think we got it set up. Hopefully it stays good. So we're gonna start getting into stuff here. Let's see if my fancy stuff is getting back to normal. Let's drag this down. Yay, the third monitor works at least. That's, of course, thanks to Martin's genius tricks to tell us how he pulled that off. So I'm just gonna... Oh, there is an echo, isn't it? Okay, let me fix that. I bet I know where. Alright, bear with me. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay. Let's see. Oh, the troubleshooting. Where is the echo coming from? No, that still has it, doesn't it? Where is that coming from? Okay, do I have another window open? It's quite possible I do. Let me see here. Oh, that's muted. Okay. What did I break last night? In case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'll show you. Looking at my audio mixer here to see where it is coming from. Shouldn't be the headphones. Okay. Let me, gonna try fiddling with some stuff here. That shouldn't matter. In this scene, Well, hold on. Okay. Oh, it's still there, isn't it? Surround sound. Yeah, it does sound like that, doesn't it? But why tonight? The only thing I'm doing different is I'm using my little head earbuds here. Oh, it is better? Oh, okay. Good. All right. Okay. One of these things did it, and I don't know what, but bye-bye to that. Okay. Get me back to my normal self here. Better drag that back where I need it. All right. Back to where we were. Let's fix our setup here. Whenever you have like a third window, it's kind of hard to manage everything. Okay. There we go. So, okay. What are we doing tonight? We are using a package that actually comes from ROpenSci, but not like one of their typical packages. So for those who aren't familiar, ROpenSci is one of these really brilliant organizations rooted from academics, but they are basically an organization that helps promote open transparency and software for research, scientific research, and they are big. They're a big influential group in the art community. Lots of packages I use have gone through their peer review process, and I have colleagues at work that maintain packages that are in the ROpenSci umbrella, and I've had nothing but great interactions when I've met with them at various conferences or even just online and virtual meetups. Well, apparently as part of their review process and kind of their overall take on the R ecosystem, they have some of their own internal tooling for when they review packages. And apparently one of these packages is strictly meant to find metadata on all the CRAN packages out there. So that's what this package stats package does for, can I say package too many times? I guess so. But it's really meant to extract summary statistics and a little bit of a hint into their functionality. Now, it wasn't like this came like out of the blue in my head. I actually caught wind of this package from a tweet from he goes by the handle Cool But Useless, but he's definitely not useless. He's a very brilliant data scientist. But he was putting out a tweet asking, is there a way to kind of know quickly how many functions are coming from such and such package or something like that? And then somebody from our ROpenSci responded that, hey, you might want to check out our package stats package. And I've never heard of this before, so I thought, well, let's dive in, let's take a look. And sure enough, this has been on GitHub for a while, but they've been enhancing it a little bit. And they recommended that Cool But Useless kind of take a look at this. So I thought, well, you know what I'm looking for here is that I am a organizer for the now rapidly approaching Art and Pharma conference, and we wanted to make the virtual event entertaining during the breaks. And so they kind of looked at for any help with that, and I thought, well, you know, I might throw my hand in there. I might have some ideas. And I was toying with some stuff in my head, and then this whole thing came around, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if during the breaks, to keep people engaged a little bit, we do a little kind of random trivia, but based with our data, like data about the R ecosystem. So I thought, well, what could I ask about? You don't want to do like softball questions of like who invented the tidyverse or stuff like that. We should make it kind of R geeky, if you will. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. What if we assemble, or I at least, assemble some metadata about these packages and we do some questions based on the statistics and other findings from this. So that's what we're going to try and do. Not sure if it's going to work, but in order to pull this off, I read a little bit on the README here for this package, and they have a function where you first give it the package installer file that you want to analyze. So here they're looking at the Magrider package. They download it in real time. Then they run a function to extract stats from it. Then you can see there's some interesting stuff I'm going to explore in a little bit. In fact, here's a nice description of the columns here for lines of code. But they also had a function to do this for an entire CRAN mirror. And if you're new to R on here, what I mean by CRAN mirror, I just Google it first on browsers like this, but this is where all the packages are hosted that the R core team basically approves of for widespread use in the community. Now, what mirrors are is basically spreading out these, in essence, servers that host these packages, like the installer files, other ancillary files around the entire world, so that you can go to one that's close to you and simply install packages from that via R itself. Now, at first I thought, oh, okay, I'll just feed into this function one of the mirrors that's on here, like the cloud R project mirror, just sponsored by RStudio. I thought I could feed that in. But I read the fine print a little bit, and they said, well, wait a minute, you need to do your own mirror of it. And I just realized I forgot to put the chat on this window. Sorry for that. They said, okay, well, if you want to do this yourself, you have to have a local mirror to do it. Well, I thought, well, how hard could that be? So it was either Sunday night or Monday that I read this. And I thought, well, maybe we can just simply do a mirror on my local system. And that's where I saw these instructions. So for those that use Linux or kind of GNU Linux tools, you may recognize a very important command, especially in my toolbox, called rsync, which basically lets you pull down or push files from one location to another and keep them in sync with each other. Now in this case, I just want to pull the files down, and so I had a spare network attached storage system that's kind of right about 10 feet from me in the storage, like the utility room, I'll call it. And I thought, well, I got some spare space on it. Why not just throw the CRAN mirror on the network storage? And it worked. Took a long time, but it worked. And so what does that really look like in practice? I will open up a folder here, and then we'll kind of look at it together. Let me go to my... it's an Intel NUC, actually. If you've seen those like little computers that look like a little mini box, I just threw a little hard drive in it, but then it's attached to 8 additional hard drives via USB enclosures, and I do what's called a RAID system to share my data across all my computers, all my files like photos and documents and stuff like that. So I decided to simply dump everything in here. Yeah, this is GNOME. Yeah, this is Pop OS, Daniel. Good eyes. So this is basically what the CRAN mirror is from a file system perspective. And this may not load quickly when I double click into this. Oh, okay. All of these source files are in this folder. Oh, actually it did load. So it has all the R versions archived that have existed, like all the way back from 1.4 all the way. You can see I'm scrolling a lot here, all the way to, I guess, upcoming 4.2. And then this other folder called archive, which are the packages that the R core team has archived until further notice. Others that are called orphan, meaning they don't have a maintainer on record or other considerations like that. And then within this directory, these are all of the packages on CRAN that exist as of this past Monday. So this function from package stats is going to actually map to my local mirror and analyze potentially all of these packages. And when I last counted, I think there's a lot here. There's a bunch. So in terms of how big this folder is on my hard drive, I did a measurement at the end, and it's about 400 gigabytes, which actually isn't that bad, but that explains why it took a long time to pull down from the internet. So what I do know is that out of the box, if I actually try to analyze every package tonight, it's definitely not going to finish before I fall asleep. But what I want to do tonight is at least pick a few of them, explore the data a bit, so that I can figure out what metrics are going to be the most entertaining or the most fun for trivia. And then once I get that data fully collected or processed, I should say, I want to put that into some kind of more robust data storage, like maybe a database, so that I could build a Shiny app in front of it to be the quiz maker. So I can already tell that I'm over-engineering the heck out of this, but that's how I roll. That's definitely how I roll here. So let's get into it. So I got my RStudio project set up here. I've been playing with this a little bit, but I honestly haven't gotten very far. So yeah, that's such a shock, Monica, right? Little old Eric here over engineering stuff. Yeah, and that never happens. I have not been commenting very well because I was assembling most of this script during downtimes between meetings. So I gotta load this up a little better. So we're gonna load package stats, and I also wanted to experiment with some parallel processing to make this easier when I do the real thing. And for that, we're going to look at a package called fur, which is in essence a version of the per package that's compliant with the very highly regarded and supremely awesome future package. Future is definitely one of the better names I've seen for our packages. So let's start running some stuff, get our environment loaded. Now I'm going to show you something kind of funny that, not funny is the wrong word for this, but the maintainer of Future, Henrik Bengtsson, he's a professor in the University of California, is it San Diego? I know it's out west. He is a very sharp with HPC. Like, I really look up to him from the skills he has. He's very passionate about Linux like I am. I wish I could just get a brain dump of all his knowledge of R with Linux and with HPC. I'm like trying to live that life, but he's like 5,000 steps ahead of me. But I remember having dinner with him and the last night of RStudio Conf 2020. And I was just picking his brain about his history, how he got involved with HPC, and some of the packages he developed in his early days as a professor. I was just soaking it all in. I was just totally engrossed with it. So I've loved having those moments. I definitely miss them because I've learned so much. It's not just the talks at these conferences, it's those conversations you have either in the hallway or even at like meetups or dinner or whatever. That was right up there with the year before, having a just kind of tagging along with the RStudio folks and having some really candid conversations with Hadley and his partner. That was a doozy. Went in many directions that I'll never forget. Anyway, memories. So watch what happens when I've loaded all these packages here. I'm going to explain this in a little bit. It's kind of like getting ahead of the punchline. But if I want to implement parallel processing because of, or using multiple CPU cores, which this streaming box definitely doesn't have a shortage of, watch what happens. Now, they've done some homework, and they actually do not recommend multi-core processing with Future when running ours in RStudio because it's unstable. Now this, I'm actually really appreciative of things like this because there might be a lot of users out there that only use R with RStudio. And of course, I have no problem with that because RStudio makes using R so much easier. It was a game changer when I brought it to work and had the little old server up that people started actually enjoying creating R code at work. But there are some weird things that it does to change how multi-core stuff works, especially on Linux. So in default behavior, they actually disable the forward processing when I try to do that in this case. Now, if you're really greedy, you can do what I did here. You can actually override it by forcing the forking capability. So I might live dangerously. I might try that out, just see what happens, because what's the worst that can happen? It's a Docker container and I'm streaming live. I've had worse things happen. So let me restart this and I'll try with that option so we can get those cores enabled. Let's do that. Yep, see, now there's no warning at all. So I've opted into dangerous territory, apparently. So, yeah, okay, Isomar, you're saying you can't run multi-core on your Windows machine. Yeah, for that you have to do multi-session for Windows because they do forking stuff quite differently in that side of the world. Okay, so I do have a utility script that I've built that kind of wraps certain functions from the package metrics, default functions, to make it ready for high performance computing. But let's just start playing with this a little bit and I'll tell you all what I've at least explored the data a little bit. So first, you can see I even put the rsync command here in case I needed it again when I pull this down. Okay, so I've already sourced that. Let's define the path. So in my Docker container, I mount that network attached storage location to a simple /CRAN mirror /tarballs, and then we're going into that contrib folder where all those package installers were. And so once we do that, I'm going to simply list all of the directories in this path. There's a reason for that in a little bit, because there were some directories that we don't really care about. And what were those, you might ask? I'll show you that again real quick. So like, let me scroll up to the very top here. We do not care about this because that looks like one of those like temporary things that I don't really need to worry about, but I do care about all these that have the versions of R in them, because this means that we could potentially compare packages as they've evolved alongside R. So I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to do. But I also do not care about meta, old, older, orphaned, or symlink. I don't really care about that stuff. Maybe orphaned down the road, but we want to just take the bits we need. And you'll see why I say that in a little bit. So this package dir raw object, what that looks like, let me show you that. So we've got all these directory paths, but you can see it's going to have all the directories, even the ones I don't really care about. So what I've done here is I've done a little clever trick where I'm going to use some nice functions from the FS package, which lets you do very concise and consistent file operations in R to actually filter for two types of directories. The first one I'm going to filter is all those that start with a number and have a period afterwards, which means it's just going to be those R specific version folders. And the other one, I just want archive. So those are the main ones I want. So that's going to be a simple reduced vector. And then basically, I've already generated this ahead of time, but I'll show you what this function was about, this package stats files function. All this really did here is say, list everything recursively of all those paths that I supply to it, all those directory paths, and then grab the tar.gz files from that. So this is getting all those files that are in various R subdirectories, which I realize I've had a slight flaw in my logic from the other day. This is not going to get the tar.gz's that were in the normal folder. And what I mean by that is it's actually not going to pick these up, because all I did was I picked them up from the directories. So it looks like I do need to run this again. So let me think here. So we're going to do some more additions here. I gotta see what that's about. My chat window's small. That rsync is crazy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe I should just look at the latest, but right now I don't have the latest in here. Unicorn Coder says, it seems to me that you're like Jordi LaForge. You engineer the R warp core. Yeah. You should see what I do at the day job. I mean, if you think this is engineering overload, good grief. I've made what turned out to be a glorified web form into some custom AWS-backed system. Don't ask, but I try to entertain myself when I get random requests. Now, what I want to do here, I think I can do the same thing where we did above with the path filter. But now I need to actually I can there's two of them. There's one that's called blob. And this is where you typically can do like a star.tar.gz. Oh, I need to do this underscore raw. I think this will grab just the tar.gz files. Let's run this by itself and see. Oh, this is what I always... I admit, this always trips me up. What did I do wrong here? What did I do wrong here? Now, so Google Forms, well, it looked better than Google Forms. It was basically a dashboard asking statisticians to enter some metadata about things they designed, because the leadership wanted to track kind of the longitudinal profile of all these different trials. And they knew I was doing some stuff with Shiny, so they thought, well, instead of like waiting 10 months for IT to do it, why don't you just do it? And at first I was like, really? But then I saw some opportunities to learn something new, so I took it on. But my hope is I can pass it off to somebody once I get it really ironed out. It's close. It's just got some warts in there that I need to figure out. Okay, Isomore, I'm going to take your advice. Let's see if the updated blob here works. Let's see. Oh, that still didn't do it. Okay. All right. So let me see how big we have for Epidur raw. Wait, what am I doing? Only 1/3. Oh, duh. It's been a long day, folks. The reason that failed is because I only do directories for this initial listing. So, silly me. We can do an easier way here. Get rid of this. We could instead do. I'm just gonna call this. We'll do src path. We're gonna do basically the same thing. Recurse equal false, and then type. I think this can be file. Let's see what that does. Okay. Let's look at our environment here and see if we got it here. Okay. So this is going to tell you something real cool here. We have, at the time of this poll, 18,401 CRAN packages that are not in the base R installation. That's pretty darn cool. I almost thought we were at 20,000 already, so I think this is accurate. That's pretty neat. All right, so now what we can do, let's take a look at a couple of these first. See if we have to do any, filtering on this. Okay, that looks good. And then, let's just do a few here. Yeah, those look good. Okay. Kind of curious what the last one is. We could do tail on that. Okay, good. It seems like they're all valid package names. Okay, so that means, whoops, I don't want that. That when we do our analysis, we're just gonna join this with the. Okay. So let's assemble that again. This should give us a lot more. Package dir analysis 18,526. So it's basically, hold on. Oh, this is just the directory, isn't it? That may be what we want. I think that's what we want. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what we want, hopefully. Alright, so we got that. Now let's try generating this more verbose file list. Hold on, I need to look at this function again. Am I doing the right thing here? Oh, I'm so okay. I'm really off my little head today. This is just meant for those subdirectories. This isn't meant for the other thing here. This doesn't need to belong here. That'll be used later. We're gonna join that with what this F list becomes. So, okay, so just for kicks, we'll do it here. We'll run this in a little bit. And then, so this should give us all the file paths afterwards. So let's go ahead and generate this. This will take a little bit of time, so I'll be able to catch up in the chat while that waits. I don't know how to parallelize file listings. I've looked into that like a couple years ago and I gave up, but that would be something cool if I could figure that out. Oh, do I detect some Linux talk? What is the new Linux name? Are you referring to the latest Ubuntu release, Unicorn Coder? It's Impish, right? I think Impish. Well, let's find out. Ubuntu 21.10. Whoa. Ah, yeah. Oh, this one won't say it. It was in the link below. Yep, Impish Indri. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that they have some great wallpaper this time and all that. I'll have to find a link to that. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I saw the wallpaper there. Where'd it go? That was oh, it's not there. Okay. But yeah, it's great job for the team. And I know, Monica, you did a lot of work to prepare for that release party. So very cool to see that come to fruition. Okay, we got our F list here. Okay, now to see the real scale of all this, notice what we have here. When we count the versions of packages in older versions of R, we now have 111,711 packaged tarball files. Combined with the actually that's not combined with the latest yet. Now we gotta combine it with this. Now we have 130,112 entries. This is big data, folks. Big data. So we're gonna save this as a file so I can reuse this later. And now comes the part where I want to start getting the package metrics from each of these. First, a funny little recap of how I was trying to do this tonight. Some of you were watching Mariah's stream earlier tonight. Mariah, awesome job as usual. Your Tidy Tuesday pumpkin data analysis and your visualization. But as usual, I have to live the mobile lifestyle, and I had to take my kid to Taekwondo practice. And this time, I wanted to try something different. Where before I would just listen to the stream, and then I just tried out a cool program called Tailscale. It's actually a service. And we're on tangents right now. I don't care. I'm in a tangent mood tonight. I heard about this on the Jupiter Broadcasting podcast I listened to, where it's a way for you to configure a network, a VPN of your own servers, and have them connect to each other without punching holes through your network's firewall, either to or from. And it's actually free to get started with, I think, 20 machines or something. So I thought, well, if Chris Fisher and Wes Payne recommended on Linux Unplugged, I can do it for myself. So I installed it on my laptop, my personal laptop. Where'd I put it? Anyway, it's around here somewhere. And on this streaming box. So when I went to the parking lot, got my cell phone tethered with the hotspot so I could get internet, I was able to SSH into the streaming box I'm talking to you on right now from my car in the parking lot, and I tried to edit this R script that I was just showing you with Vim in the Docker container. Yes, that was a mouthful. And I kind of got close, but the problem with Vim, out of the box is that it's not really configured well to work with R without a nice plugin, which I didn't have time to install, so I didn't get very far. But where I did get was about here. So all the code you see here is what I wrote in the car. So it wasn't very much, but I was impressed I was able to get that far. So what I want to do now is get a subset of this, because I'm not ready to run it on the full 130-ish entry, 130K entries. Let's just pick a few of them. We're going to pick from this master list 20 of those packages randomly using the sample function. And let's see what we came up with. We have what looks like a bunch of archived packages, and some are the latest version. Okay, this is good. I was hoping I would get some that correspond to a specific R version. Let me see. Yeah, I kind of wanted to get one for a specific R version. Let's bump up that list a little bit, because my package summary function has different conditional logic based on where the package is coming from. So let's bump that up a bit. Let's try 50. What do we have here? Well, it sure lets us grab those archive packages, doesn't it? Come on, give me a specific R version. Huh. Well, we'll go with this for now. I don't know why it didn't give me any of the other ones. That's alright. Alright, so... well, we'll go with this for now. So we got flist2. It's got 50 rows. And we're going to try out the future package with these 50 file paths using a function called package stat custom. So what does that look like? Let's take a look. This is basically wrapping some of the code from that ROpenSci package already, but I wanted to twist it a little bit to make it easier for me to do more filtering for these questions in the future. So basically we give it the file path, the common root we call it, that's basically the leading part of the file path. And then I first determine if it's from a specific version or archived. And this is where I think I might need to tweak my logic a little bit. So I'm actually going to do a browser because I think I know the flaw in my logic a little bit here. We're going to debug it with a couple test cases. Oh, I see some links. Oh yeah, what links do we have here? What is that? Netacad courses. What do we, oh, Linux Essentials. Oh yes, very cool, Monica. Thanks for sharing that. Linux Essentials, yes. I got my Linux Essentials the hard way in grad school. My department just threw me to administer a mix of Ubuntu from the very early days, SUSE, Fedora, and yes, Solaris, which I still have painful experiences from Solaris. Okay. Let me look at my hazards. So like this one right here, which I want to try looking at one of these that was not an archive. Like this one. Let me copy that in. Because I think I need to update my logic a little bit in that scraping function to account for this. So fact, I'm gonna run this one here. And we'll put in first argument of that file path. Okay. Got the browser in there. You know what? Let's not do the browser thing. That's kind of dirty right now. Let's just do a debug once on it, and we'll see if we get that going here. All right. Okay, here we are. So what I think is going to go haywire is this stuff here. So let's see. Rel path. What did that look like? Yeah, okay, so this is the key, is that it's simply the tar.gz. So it's not going to have archive in it, then it's going to go here. But we don't need to split the path because it's really only one thing. Actually, this might work. This might... Oh, no, it's only because this is going to think it's the R version. Okay, okay, so now I know what I have to deal with here. Okay. If I do the length of path split, then I'll know if it's more than 2. It's probably going to be an R package path. If it's 2, which will be the leading slash. Actually, let's find out. Let's find out. Just type it in here. Yeah, so whenever FS does a path split, if you have a leading slash in front, it's going to consider that part of the path, and then you have the file name. So it's going to have length 2 for these non-archived, non-older R version of packages. So we're gonna basically do the split here, and we're gonna look at the length of it. So if the length of this, if it was like a specific R version path, actually we gotta do, it's a list, so we gotta get that list. If this is greater than 2, then we've got this. But else means it's going to be 2 or less. In this case, I'm going to call the R version, I'm just going to call it current for now. But it's still a package type of standard. Okay. Okay. So that should work. Let's find out. Let me first see if my condition goes a true or false. Whoops. Goes false. Okay. We'll just make sure the rest of this works correctly. So this is S. This is the meat of it, is that this package stats function gives you a list of all these different metrics that are out there. And if this was null, then we would just, or if it's not null, I should say, I add 2 things. So this is what the actual package does not do, is I'm adding additional metadata to this list of the R version and the package type. And then if I want to save the whole thing, it does some magic with decomposing paths and then saving an RDS. And if I want to create a summary, which basically gives me a really wide data frame of these metrics, it does a similar thing where it runs their package stat summary function. If there's an error with that, it just makes it null. So then if it fails, then we just kind of superimpose some stuff on it Otherwise, we keep it as is and we just add the R version and package type to that data frame. And then we're kind of done. So I think that should do it. I don't need to test anymore. So let's grab our file back. Let's try it on this. Now that we've set temp stats, looking for warnings. No warnings, good. So let's take a look at the list here. So these are the things that we're going to be looking at here, is what this lock is about. It's got things like language, number of files, number of lines, number of characters, number of yeah, this is interesting. I think it's doing like a static analysis of the code files themselves, how many vignettes they have, how many data sets they have, the metadata around the package itself, which is pretty cool. Objects, I think this is getting like what are the files inside, I believe. There's more to it than that. Yeah, this is pretty cool stuff. They also have a cool way where you can plot a network of the package and its dependencies as well. Let's take a look at that, because I had a little fun with that the other day. Yeah, I think we can run this. Let me show you this. Oh, I thought it was going to give me a network diagram of that. What happened? Let me look up the help for that. Hold on. Let's look at that. I wanted to show you the network. It was pretty cool. Package. Oh, plot network. Duh. Okay, plot network. That's it. Yeah, check this out. So this is using Viz Network. Let me zoom in on this a bit. Okay. Viz Network. I'm laughing because I have what you might say a love-hate relationship with it. It has been a very helpful package for my biggest shiny app I'll probably ever make in my entire life. But dealing with it in a custom way has been very tough. But when it works really well. So we can zoom in on kind of this network of, are these the functions from it? Yeah, this might be the functions from it. These aren't new packages, I think. Interesting. I don't even know how to interpret a lot of this yet, but it's just fun to look at, isn't it? Can we move it around? Oh yeah, this is the cool thing about Viz Network. You can move it around. Have fun with it. This expand file name has a lot of stuff going to it. Huh. Yeah, this is fun. I'm loving it. Now what's cool is that thanks to having list columns and data frames, we could actually save all these network plots in a tidy data frame. I've been starting to do that a lot lately, is using list columns to put arbitrary objects that correspond to a row of data so that I can unpack it at my choosing and do some cool stuff with it. Now, Isomar says, I want this, but for the imports metadata to see what are the most connected packages. I know I've seen that kind of plot before. I wonder if this lets you do that too. I'm still learning all the supported features of this. Let's take a look at the help file for plot network. Plot true. Okay, so it doesn't really... Of object relationship network of a package. Okay, so it is within the package itself. But I know Isomore, I've seen that type of plot before, I just can't remember where. That might be something I look at in the future. Oh, okay. This isn't quite the same, but this function I was trying before was saying of the, actually, I think of the packages that source package depends on, how many function calls are coming from each of those dependencies. So here it's calling JSON Lite 4 times, or functions from it 4 times, YAML twice, but then the base stuff of stats and graphics and methods get by far the most calls. So that's interesting. Yeah, Unicorn Coder, iGraph can be paired with Viz Network to control the layout and do their own algorithms for how the nodes are constructed. So I actually use iGraph with Viz Network in this day job project that I work on to try and preserve a layout of having some nodes at the top that are like, quote, the most important, and going down in like a choose your own adventure kind of thing to the bottom, but there's like a hierarchical order. And with iGraph, with a specific layout, I can pull that off. But yeah, there's a wealth of information here that we could play with, I'm sure. So now we know it works for that kind of package. Let's see if it works for everything. I need to organize this a bit better. You can see in the car, I don't know how to type well. Trying to sample the data. Let's try this out here. What we want is that this stats obj to be like the raw collection of metadata that we can process later. So let's just try this out and see. Okay, we'll see if anything breaks or not, but it's chugging away, chugging away. There is a way to get progress indicators for this, which I might try in a little bit. I haven't gone that far yet. Now, hopefully this doesn't break my system during this, because I am using more than one core for it, of course. But there's a cool way we can find out if you want to get some real Linux geekiness here. Alright. What's it called? Cache top? Okay, my cores are not in too bad shape. They're not being maxed out. They're about 20-ish%. So I don't know if that's kind of OBS or the RStudio or the Docker instance. It's all Docker right now. Let's see, that's not too bad. Uh-oh, uh-oh. We've got some shenanigans here. Let's see. I wonder if I push the envelope too much. Let's see. Warning messages. Problem mutate com. Future map. Unreliable value. Unexpectedly generated. I don't want random numbers. Specify seed equal true. Where? In future map call? Okay. I think that's all. I think it, yeah, it looks scary. Like when you see that, it looks really scary. But I think what it's saying is that we just have a... I don't see any... Where do I set seed equal true? Trying to figure out where to disable this. Not statistical, but yeah. Where do I do this seed equal true? Is it in the future declaration? Oh, and the dot options? Yeah, maybe so. Let's take a look here. Your thing is somewhere in here, right? Quite possible. But what would that option be? Or set option future RNG on misuse to ignore. Maybe we'll try that. We'll try that. Hopefully this may have to redeclare the future. Okay, let's see. Let's see if that did the trick. Oh, you mean the, oh, okay, you're maybe right. Well, let's grab that out of there. Okay, you're right. Let's go back to the future map call. Yep, right here. Okay, let's take a look at the help for that again. Dot options. Okay, you are right. All right. And what is the for options format? All right. I think I know what we're doing here. Let's change our style a little bit. Make it a little more readable here. Yep. Seed equal true. Okay, I think that will do it. Good call, Isomor. Very good call. You've got more than one thing right for sure. That's a great call. Let's see if we get those scary looking messages now. Next, I might try the progress thing. But the goal is that if I can get it working with this subset without craziness, I'm going to let this run while I sleep on the entire set and try to just max the cores out as much as I can without it totally destroying the system. So, okay, it's chugging away. Oh, well, I'm waiting for that. I hope you all are having a good Wednesday and you're unwinding well. I was actually pretty productive with a lot of the work stuff, and then suddenly it's kind of, I won't say panic, but I'm involved in a lot of external things that I've got to get, I have to get straightened out. And obviously this project's one of them, but there's more to it. I'm going to be at the R Pharma conference. I have to give a talk. It's only a 10-minute talk. And I'm going to be leading a panel about discussing scaling R and scaling Shiny in production in life sciences. And we've got a heck of a panel that's signed up so far. So I got to think of some questions, and I'll be kind of like the host for that one. And it's like at the very last thing of the conference itself, which means that either people are going to be so drained from it, they're not going to care whatever I say, or they're going to be in a good mood now that it's almost over and they want to hear everything. So I've got to do some planning for all that, but it's all good fun. These other R enthusiasts in life sciences, I love talking with them every week. I've learned so much that they're doing that I'm not doing, and I'm thinking, wow, am I just behind the curve, or what's going on? It's been fun to do that. Yeah, there's a few things, Unicorn. Is it always 5? I'm not sure. There's probably more. Not to mention, I saw that nagging thing about starting up the main podcast someday. Anyway, the DF. Okay, so we had no warnings this time. So Isomor, great job fixing that. Let's take a look at DF and see what we got. Yeah, West Bay City Buddha, thanks for joining in. Sorry I didn't see you earlier, but yeah, we're excited for it. It'll be the 3rd or 4th year? Gosh, time flies. Yeah, I think it's the 4th year. The 3rd year was virtual last year. Okay, good news, everybody. I think... Wait, it didn't work for everything. It did not work for VGAM. That was an archived package. That's interesting. I want to... Oh, there's another one. Okay, so let's do some tidyverse stuff. All of you in the audience aren't the only ones that do tidyverse work. I can do it too. You just don't see it very much in my other streams. So we're gonna DF failed, and we're gonna filter for that. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, why didn't that work? Me and my big mouth acting like I can do all the tidyverse stuff. That's no, right? Oh wait, it's in a list, isn't it? Oh, jeez, yeah. I know what I want to do. Yep. Yep, I forget I have to do a map on this. Yeah. This is the way I do it. There probably is a better way, but I'm just gonna make this should do it. All right. Let's see if that does the trick. Oh, we want to do the filter for it too. I'm gonna do the filter afterwards. Okay, so my logic is null. Okay, so this should just get the ones that failed. Okay, let's. What? Oh, I forgot to do the .x, didn't I? Ah, yep. There we go. Okay, we got 2. Pretty cool. Okay, so which ones are these? They are VGAM and ODF weave. Oh, that brings back memories. So if you're new to R, you may never have used something called S-weave or sweave. I'm not sure how the best way to pronounce it. But that was generating literate programming, like documents that had R code and LaTeX code, and you would compile with LaTeX to get the PDF. And ODF weave, I think, is a very similar thing, but it would compile to open document format instead. So I'm very intrigued why that did not work. So we're gonna take a look at that a bit. So we might have to modify our function a little bit to do some per safety stuff. Let's just grab the yeah, so let's try ODF weave first. I'm very curious why that failed. Let's map it here. And we'll put that here. Alright, we'll debug once just to see what happens. Alright, here we are. Rel path. So this should consider this an archive. Wait a minute. Oh, there is a flaw in my logic as well. That should... This should have detected... Oh, it's because there's a leading slash in front, isn't there? Yeah, I see the problem. If this had been just a slash like this, it'll probably come up. Yeah. Ah. Okay. I got too cute with it. Let's see if this detects it. Yeah, okay. So we'll just run this interactively, but we'll rerun this again with that change. And now let's try this. Yep, so it's failing in here. There's some kind of error with this, but I'm curious what it is. So what we do here, we're going to debug this one. And we're just going to run it ourselves. And now we're into the source of the package stats function. Okay. So let's see if extract works here. Yeah. So path is just a path to a directory, basically. We can actually look what's in there. Okay, so we've got the description, namespace, R directory, to do. Interesting. Instant man. Okay, those look like pretty standard, except the to do one. And let's see what happens with this S1 function. S1 is a data frame. So it's definitely getting the number of files. Number of lines, and I don't know what encode means, but it definitely worked. Let's just look at the rest. Actually, we can do a glimpse on it. Yeah, valid data. So I wonder where the failure is. Okay, let's keep going with it. Num vignettes is 0. Num demos is 0. Get data stats. Now that's a bunch of zeros there, so I wonder if that's a problem. Let's to get this stats. Okay, that. Let's take a look at that one. Yeah, the package stats, or the metadata, it seems legitimate. Depends on lattice. From 2008, folks. Ooh, that's a long time ago. S3. Wait a minute. Well, I was trigger happy. I should have looked at it more carefully what I was trying to do there. But there's an unexpected end of input. That's a cryptic thing, isn't it? I want to get back in there, because I want to see what that was actually doing. So what we can do now is we're going to do a debug once on their function. It should get us back to where we were. Okay, so it was right here, RD stats, which I think is for the documentation. I'm just curious I'm just really curious what happened there. And we're gonna, okay, we'll get that in. Now we're gonna debug once on RD stats. Let's see what this is about. Okay. Okay, so it's going to list the manual files. We got 20 of them. Suppress warnings, get 1 params. No idea what that means, but that, I think, just failed. Okay. Well, at that point, when you go this deep into somebody else's package, you kind of just tap out at some point and say, okay, maybe for this one, I don't care about it. So it's not happening to everything. It only happened to 2 of them. So them's the breaks, I guess. But the good news is that the rest of the pipeline did actually execute. So we know that it's not going to stop the rest of the map call, because in the functions itself that I created and was inspired by what they did, I do a try catch on some of those functions, and if it junks out for some reason, I just return null instead, and I'll just leave it aside. I don't have to be completely accurate here. Okay, so now we fixed that function to do the archive stuff correctly, so I'm gonna source it back. We're gonna run it again, the full thing, because I wanna extract some of that information and add some new variables. For this stuff, there's probably a better way to do this in Perl, but I do in these cases, I just write the anonymous function myself. I just do it like this. I'm sure there's a much better way to do it, but that just makes more sense to me. Then we'll do another one. Yeah, try catch and R. Yeah, if you want to see what that was again, Unicorn Coder, that's what this is right here. It's saying if this fails, you give it a function to run on the failure, and all it does here is just saying, okay, just make it null so I don't care about it. Oh, thanks, Monica. Have a great night. Have a great relaxing bit with music, and see you around. Maybe this weekend we'll finally get our racing back working if the folks at Curve Digital actually fix their server issues. That sure would be nice, wouldn't it? I got a trophy to defend. Okay. So that's what try catch does. It gives you a way to do your own processing on the error. So, okay. So we got the R version. We're going to do the same kind of thing, but we're going to get the other metadata that I collected, which was package type. Okay. Okay, that should do it. Let that go a bit. And while that's going, I want to read up one of the articles that the fur package had with... Oh, I don't have that dark mode extension on here, do I? Let's throw that in while we're here. Extensions. It's called Dark Reader. Yeah, this is the one. Let's throw this in. Ah. What's that about? Well, that's not good. Insufficient permissions? Ugh. Well, I tried. Oh, what do we have here? Oh boy, I must have screwed something up there. That always trips me up a bit. Why did that fail? So stats OB... Oh, because of the null slots. Oh. Yeah, I should do the mutate that I was doing below here. And then we'll get rid of them before we do the rest. That's what I should have done. And we'll change the filter so that it's not getting the failed ones. It's not getting this. It's getting the successful ones. Okay. Let's see. How appropriate when I get cryptic R errors like that we're hearing Dancing Mad if you know your Final Fantasy games well. Alright, let's see if this does it. What I was trying to read earlier was... this, they have an article about progress notifications. And they said there was some tricky stuff you had to do with dplyr. Where you can wrap model function in a number function that creates P and calls future map all at once. I see. Okay. Wow. I'm afraid of breaking stuff. I may look at that later. Let's go back to our window. Okay, now we're in business. We've got our data frame. It's got 48 observations. And this should... nothing much, Unicorn Coder. I was just reading up on progress stuff and I kind of got a little weary of it. Oh, what did I do? I copied the wrong thing. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. This is package type. Yeah, I goofed on that one. Run that again. And once that completes, well, we might give the progress thing a try. I'm kind of curious how that works. The key is we have to make a mapper function. Okay, so it's basically wrapping what I do here, package stats. I can call it package stats mapper or something. We'll put that down here. Now they had it for their data argument, which was going into their future map. So for me, what goes in the future map is file. So I just want to do file for it. Okay. And then they had they do the progressor in the body of the function. Okay. File. And this is package stats custom. P equal P, okay. I think that will do that. And we'll source this back. We will comment this one out. We'll do... oh wait, I need to put this in the other one, or else it'll give me those horrific warnings again. Back. Yep, that should take care of that issue. this becomes... Alright, let's see if that does a trick. Alright, thanks Unicorn Coder for joining. I'll be shutting down soon as well once I figure out this progress stuff. Let's try running this and see what kind of trouble we get into. Oh. Gotta load it. It's this one right here. Okay. Let's see. Unused argument. Ah. What did I do wrong? Oh. Have to do with progress. Oh, okay, okay. And in that, oh, it's like a shiny reactive syntax. Okay. Let's throw all that in. Now I think I have to return that at the end. What'd I do wrong? Unused argument again. Feel like I did the same thing as they did up here. Well, I kind of like what they do here. They say they get one long progress bar. Oh, from the first... Oh, okay, so I'm only doing one call to it. That's no big deal. Okay, so... Why did that work? Mutate. Package stats mapper. Function file. The aggressor. Steps equal... length data, and then future map, EKG stats custom, P equal P, unless the vignette is outdated. Oh. It is. Okay. I am using the CRAN version of the package. Not the GitHub version, I don't believe. Actually, no, I'm not sure now. Let's see. So this could be...0.2.3. What is it? Oh, it is 0.2.3. So it should be on the latest release. Let's look at the future map. Now they... Oh boy, that vignette may be out of date. Yeah, we will progressor. That's all I'm wondering. And what I think the vignette might be out of date. Because this is a little different than how I do it. But they have this key in here. So why does their version of future map have that? Now, did they modify their model function? Maybe they modified their model. Oh, that's it. Okay, we got it. We got it. We got it. It's user error, not their fault. I'm just gonna copy it in as reference. So this, we have an additional argument here. And here, okay. And then we call it after it's just about completed. We'll have to call it both places just in case. Alright, I think that will do it. Nope, not the vignettes problem, it's your trusty host problem here. Let's source that. Let's see. Progress bar, woohoo! Got it. It's always nice when I actually solve something with little effort, at least. I didn't need Tan's rescuing on that one. I was able to troubleshoot it. During the day, I'm actually very fast at troubleshooting stuff, but at night it just kind of all goes out. So Isomore, what happened here is it really has to do with the progressor package, and whatever custom function I'm writing that's in that dplyr pipeline with the future map, that utility function needs an additional parameter for the progress object the progressor is doing. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So that's what they did here. They have a progressor object called P, and they run their model fit, and then they just call it at the end to output what the progress is. I did not make that connection. I just went straight over to over down here. And, oh, thanks for the bits, West Pacific Buddha. Much appreciated. I had just gone like straight to here, or I should say with this one. No, I mean this one, without updating my model function. So it's a little intricate, but I had to go up the chain a little bit to find out. Oh, I get it. We don't need a return statement here, do we? I don't think. Let me take a look at the vignette again. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was my bad. We don't need a return statement inside this. It's not quite the same as React as in Shiny. Let's try this one more time. Yeah, it's kind of like passing it, and then it's passing it up a level too, so that it keeps like recursively adding to itself. Pretty slick, actually. I'm digging it. I never got to work in my projects at work, so I'm happy I was able to pull it off here. So this time it shouldn't give me any errors, and we should get the DF as we intended. Now what's interesting is you can see that even with 4 cores that I flagged for this and about 50 files, it's about 20-ish seconds around there. So there's a lot of churning that happens on those tar GZs that it unpacks and then it extracts information in this static code analysis and then puts it all back into my data frame. So, okay, let's look at DF one more time. And we should get the R version. Yep, 2.9.2. The archive will not have the R version because it's archived. But the other ones have... Oh yeah, we did have a one that came from a package, like, I mean, I should say an R version directory, 292, and it still worked. So we are in good shape here. We are in good shape. Okay. Now the one thing I'll do before I shut off the lights, so to speak, is I'm going to try bumping up the number of cores and see at what point do things break. Now I'm thinking before I do that, let me clean this up a little bit. I'm going to put comments in here, I'm going to commit it, so if this messes up my file system royally, I have a we don't need any of this anymore. Clear that out. Okay. Let's move this up here. Get rid of that. Okay. This looks a little more readable at least. Alright, let's commit that. I forgot I had to tell Git who I am, because in the Docker container it doesn't remember it. I've done this so many times I memorized it. One of the few Git things I memorized. There we go. Well, Tan, you're here. Oh my gosh, you're up late. Thanks for joining. I actually solved a very intricate progress bar issue, and we were... I was about to tap out and ask for your help, but we got it. We got it. So I'm committing stuff before I try an HPC thing. Oh yeah, I have a lot to commit here, but I'm gonna get rid of... Actually, I can... Yeah, let's get the RN stuff in here. Utils in here. My Docker file's been updated quite a bit. Okay, that's looking good. Alright. Okay. So, Tan, to catch you up a little bit, I am actually analyzing a local CRAN mirror that I downloaded on Monday. And then I'm going to use the metadata from all these CRAN packages to maybe form some funny trivia questions for a future conference. That's the gist of it, but we've had a lot of adventures getting there. And we're using a package from ROpenSci called Package Stats that basically does the heavy lifting for us. I just put a little sugar on top of it. What we're going to do now is we're going to parallelize this even more. Let's try 8 cores on this bad boy and see what happens. I think that will make it faster. Let's find out. And this is the part that we just solved, Tan, is the progress bar. So let's get that going. Ooh, that seems a little faster, I think. Yeah, that seems to be going faster. Where's my other terminal? I want to keep track of the progress here. Oh yeah, let's look at the... Oh yeah, we're maxing more out here, I can tell. That's slick. Yep, this is progressor. Okay, I think it finished. Yep, that was definitely faster. Let's bump this up even more, shall we? Get my mouse there. Ah, where's my mouse? Okay. Let's bump it up to... Actually, I should probably detect how many cores I actually indeed have. The future package has available cores. 16. Okay, well let's do 12 here. Just having fun. Let's do 12. And then let's try this again. Keep your eye on the progress bar. That seems to be pretty faster. And you can see we're using up almost 90%, 80% of these cores. Not that much faster, but there was an improvement over the 4 for sure. Not bad, not bad. The system's still holding up and you're all still hearing me, so I didn't break my box. Very cool. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, now... What we want to do now is we're going to save this. I'm going to try one more thing before I sign off, and then I run the whole set while I sleep. And by the way, Tan, when I mean the whole set, in essence, I have 130,000 packages that we're gonna do this on. And now, of course, I know there's not 130,000 packages on the latest CRAN, but the mirror that I have has packages matching older versions of R as well. So like we have R version 1.9 in this mirror and all the packages that were snapshotted at that time on CRAN. Then you go up the chain all the way to 4.2, which isn't even out yet. So we got lots of data to crunch for. West Pacific is asking if I'm running this on a Raspberry Pi. Oh, most certainly not. This is on my streaming box, which is a pretty beefy system because I wanted to have powerful hardware for all the fun stuff I'm doing with it. But yeah, Tan, that does include all the archived versions as well. So we're going to have in our data set, which I can show you here, after I pull the metadata out from the package stats function, I added a couple elements so I could detect if a package was an archive type or a standard type, and if it matches the current version of R or if it matches an older version of R. So that way I can do some interesting subsetting exploring this down the road. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun set to play with. It's been a lot of engineering tonight, no Shiny involved, ironically, but But that will come maybe tomorrow if I get some progress here. Icon, thanks for joining. We're basically making a metadata set of all the packages that have been released on the Comprehensive R Archive Network, or CRAN for short. Basically, all the packages that are available for download. Like on the web version, you can simply browse these, but in R itself, you can install them yourself very easily with installed up packages. So we're grabbing all the metadata associated with this. But I downloaded the whole thing myself. And I figured I'd try it out and see what happens. So it's been a learning process. And in Tan, yes, Metacran I've used a lot too to look up stuff. And they have an API, I believe. And I don't know if Gabor is still maintaining that. I know it hasn't been updated in a while. But that's another option to get some additional metrics as well. Might be a nice complement to what this is doing. I don't think package stats is grabbing anything from Metacran. It's actually just grabbing it from the mirror itself, the tarball files of each package. But they're good complements, so I definitely want to pursue that further. Okay, what I wanted to try, which I can actually do in my other window here. Let's do a new tab here. All right, let's get to my folder. Oh, where am I? Oh, good, I'm in the right spot. Let's see what my container's called. R Pharma Social. Oh, good, I remember my command from in the car. Okay. Run our Pharma Social bash. Yes, I am now in the container. I'm going to change to the RStudio user. And I gotta get the bash shell back. Okay. I gotta get to the get back to the folder. Yep, all my files are there. What I'm basically doing here is I'm going to run the script from R in this container in a terminal. Because this is what I'll actually run tonight when I sleep. I won't run it in RStudio because it may or may not crash in RStudio itself. So I'm trying to cover my bases here. Now let me just make sure I've got everything sorted out before I do this. Hold on. I should have flist already saved. I'm going to save it again one more time. Okay. flist is now saved, so my script's going to detect that. It's going to read it from here. We're going to sample the first randomly 50 of them, and then we're going to basically just make sure everything works. I'm not going to save anything yet, but let's just make sure it works. Okay, so now we go back to the terminal here. Yep. All right, here we go. Oh, there's a progress bar. Look at that. Nice. I should put some messages in it, but hey, it's working. And I think it's faster in this than it was in RStudio, which actually makes sense because RStudio is a little more overhead for the process compared to just a base R prompt right here. Well, maybe not. It's hung in at 98% for some reason. Now, I'm not too concerned about that, but let's see what we got here. Let's look at the end row of BF failed. Oh, nothing failed. Okay. Okay. All right. I dare say it worked. Let's look at our DF here. Yeah, the data frames of list object, our versions. Let's look at the unique of that. Okay, either NA or current. Okay. Yeah, it was fast. I'm happy with it. I think that's what I wanted. So now, basically, this is what I will run when I sleep tonight. And maybe it'll finish, who knows? But with 12 cores and everything else kind of minimized, I think it'll work. All right. Any other tidying up I need to do here? Well, in the real version, we won't be doing FList 2. We're going to be doing the whole thing. I'll find out when I wake up if this actually did work or not. Okay. That is a great way to end, I think, because I'm about to generate that major data, and then tomorrow maybe I get to actually analyze it in full and then start making some fun trivia questions from it. So okay, well, that's all. It's almost past midnight now, so I'm gonna get some shut-eye. But thanks you all for joining tonight, and if you want to keep up with what I'm doing, obviously check me out on Twitter, check out the Shiny Developer Series on YouTube. Oh yeah, timestamps. I did that for the RM tutorial. I need to do that here. I wish I had a bot to do it. There is somebody that's on Twitch that has like a thing where he just punches a button at certain points and it populates a timestamp file for him, and then he just puts that in his show notes at the end. Maybe I'll build something like that in the future, who knows. But yeah, you all have a great night. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow night. I can never guarantee it because chaos can happen in the house. But if I do come back, we're going to continue with the data. Hopefully make some fun questions out of it and figure out if this is really feasible for my conference break sessions. So again, you all have a great night. I'm sure I'll see you around. And thanks for joining. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to get future updates. And your support's always appreciated. So take care. See you later.